African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command in combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation on the 13th of June, 2025. From June 7th to June 13th, the armed forces of the Russian Federation carried out a massive and 7-group strikes with high-precision weapons and attack unmanned aerial vehicles, which resulted in the destruction of enterprises of the military-industrial complex of Ukraine, the infrastructure of military airfields, radar stations, production workshops, storage and launch sites for attack unmanned aerial vehicles, arsenals of the armed forces of Ukraine, as well as deployment points of Ukrainian armed formations, nationalists, and foreign mercenaries. The strike's objective has been achieved. All designated objects have been hit. During the week, units of the North Military Group liberated the settlement of Yablanovka in Sumy Oblast during offensive operations. Airstrikes, unmanned aerial vehicles, and artillery fire damaged the manpower and equipment of 4 mechanized, a Ranger, 2 airborne assault brigades, 2 assault regiments of the Ukrainian armed forces, and 4 territorial defense brigades. Over the week, in the area of responsibility of the North Group of Forces, the enemy's losses amounted to over 1,135 servicemen, 2 tanks, 14 combat armored vehicles, 29 cars, and 39 field artillery guns. 5 electronic warfare stations and 10 ammunition depots were destroyed. The units of the West Group of Forces occupied more advantageous positions. They defeated the formations of 3 mechanized, motorized infantry, airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, 2 territorial defense brigades, and a National Guard brigade. That the enemy lost over 1,555 servicemen, 3 tanks, 13 armored combat vehicles, including 2 U.S.-made M113 armored personnel carriers, and 87 cars. 19 field artillery guns were destroyed, including 5 produced by NATO countries, 17 electronic warfare stations, and 30 ammunition depots. Units of the Southern Group of Forces continued to advance into the depths of the enemy's defenses and liberated the settlement of Zaria in the Donetsk People's Republic. The manpower and equipment of 4 mechanized, motorized infantry, 2 assault, airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, and a territorial defense brigade were damaged. Over the week, the Ukrainian armed forces lost more than 1,175 servicemen, a tank, 3 combat armored vehicles, 21 cars, and 15 field artillery guns in this direction. 6 electronic warfare stations, 11 ammunition and material depots were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of Forces have reached the western border of the Donetsk People's Republic and are continuing to develop the offensive on the territory of the Dnipropetrovsk region. As a result of decisive actions, the settlements of Petrovskoye, Alexeivka, and Koptivo of the Donetsk People's Republic were liberated. Defeat was inflicted on formations of 5 mechanized, 2 airborne assault and assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a Marine brigade, 2 territorial defense brigades, 2 National Guard brigades, and the Azov Special Forces Brigade. The enemy lost over 3,660 servicemen, 38 armored combat vehicles, 41 vehicles, and 40 field artillery pieces. Over the past week, units of the East Military Grouping have liberated the settlement of Komar in the Donetsk People's Republic as a result of active operations. The manpower and equipment of 3 mechanized, airborne assault, and airmobile brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, a Marine brigade, and 2 territorial defense brigades were damaged. The enemy's losses amounted to more than 1,435 servicemen, 2 tanks, 17 armored combat vehicles, 39 cars, 28 field artillery guns, and 5 electronic warfare stations. Units of the Dnieper Group of Forces defeated formations of 2 mechanized, mountain assault brigades, 2 coastal defense brigades of the Ukrainian armed forces, and 2 territorial defense brigades. The Ukrainian armed forces lost over 610 servicemen, an armored combat vehicle, 47 vehicles, and 15 field artillery guns. 26 electronic and counter-battery warfare stations, as well as 9 ammunition depots, were destroyed. Over the course of a week, air defense systems shot down a long-range Neptune-guided missile, 18 JDAM-guided aerial bombs, 9 HIMARS multiple launch rockets from the U.S., and 1,582 aircraft-type unmanned aerial vehicles. Over the course of a week, the Black Sea Fleet destroyed 6 unmanned boats. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 663 aircraft, 283 helicopters, 63,395 unmanned aerial vehicles, 611 anti-aircraft missile systems, 23,884 tanks, and other armored combat vehicles, 1,572 combat vehicles of multiple launch rocket systems, 26,142 field artillery pieces and mortars, 36,804 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.